What's up, everyone? Alex Rossman here, and welcome to Rossman Radio, the social first podcast where founders and industry leaders stop pretending everything's amazing and they tell the real stories, the wins, the failures, the why did I even start this moments, all of it. Most importantly, we break down the marketing strategies that are actually working for them today, not the ones some guru made up in a hotel conference room in 2016. So if you want real-world growth strategies told by the ones who have scaled multi-million-dollar brands, just listen.
Welcome back to Rossman Radio, the show where we dig into the real marketing work happening behind the scenes at companies across the country. I'm your host, Rob Nichols, Director of Strategy at Rossman Media. Today, we're talking with a brand that many families in the Phoenix area know really well. The Arizona SunRays has grown from a single location into one of the leading children's activity centers in the region. They offer everything from gymnastics, dance, ninja programs, camps, events, and even a licensed preschool. It's a full ecosystem built around helping kids grow through movement, confidence, and community. And joining me today is the CFO of Arizona SunRays, Matthew Witenstein. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's good to be here.
So for people who are not familiar, can you start this with the story behind the business? How did your family take it from one small gym to what it is today?
Yeah, so we're celebrating our 35th anniversary this year. So it started back in 1990. My dad was a gymnastics coach at a place called Sunland Gymnastics. And at the time, it was actually going under. And my parents took the risk at the time, being young in their 20s, and decided to put all the money they had into it, buy the business from the owner, and just go for it. That was, as I said, 35 years ago. And since then, we've had many national competitors. We've had elite gymnasts. We have served thousands of families, all from one location for roughly 27 years. And then we opened up our second one in an area called Arcadia, our third in an area in North Phoenix called Carefree. And we're continuing our expansion out west in an area of Surprise.
Nice. So that's an incredible amount of expansion for a small family-run operation. What do you think has allowed the SunRays to grow into so many different programs while keeping the heart of the business, the same?
Yeah, I think it's our people. We've had many people that have been with us well over 20 years and had not just their children in our gym, but now their grandchildren in our gym. Our people understand our vision and our mission and see where we want to go. And having the faith that we have in the people on our team, that really allows us to grow and expand in different areas because we can trust them with pieces of the business that we no longer need to have our hands on and they can take ownership of.
Yeah, and that kind of matches what we've seen too with everything in your kind of, we'll call it like youth activities, youth services kind of industry. At Rossman, when we've represented a lot of brands that have this good foundation, and it all starts with those face-to-face interactions and recommendations. Like you're going to believe and you're going to listen to the families that you go to school with or that you're members of community organizations with over any, like outward advertising. What we try to do is try to help out and kind of boost things from there. So tell me a little bit in that regard. How are you scaling the business? So now that you have a good foundation, you've got a lot of people recommending you. How are you, or how have you tried to scale it through marketing?
Yeah, so some of the marketing things that we do start with digital ads. So to take our expansion into Surprise, we've been running interest form ads via Meta, Facebook, and Instagram for months now, asking different questions, trying to understand who is out there and what programs they need. From there, we get into the community-oriented marketing strategies of going to community events, working with religious institutions, working with the schools that are out there, getting in the community via tabling, holding a day where maybe we bring some equipment to the school and run kids through classes and just really get boots on the ground. As we're doing that, we're making connections with local restaurants, coffee shops, other things like that will allow us to put flyers, form partnerships, and just help them know that we want to be an asset to the community, not just one that takes from the people that live there. We want to be able to give back and work with them in a variety of ways. So we start with the digital ads, we move to the in-person And then we go off and running and we open the location and go from there. And then we really push our word of mouth, different referral programs, trying to get Google reviews, things of that nature. And that tends to be our flywheel from there. And then we're just hoping that people have the best experience and continue to tell their friends and family about it. That's really where we win, is where we get people in the building. They see the dedication that our coaches bring to all the classes, and they go and tell their friends and family members about it.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, that you're running more of the interest form, top of funnels type campaigns from Google. I know that you mentioned you recently pulled back a little bit from traditional Google PPC. Can you talk a little bit about what led to that decision, and what were you hoping to see that maybe you weren't seeing from traditional PPC?
Yeah. So, while our growth might seem accelerated for our industry, we are not the behemoth of some of these other corporations. And so, our marketing budget is not uh, incredibly large. So, we have to be very specific with where we put the dollars. And what we found for Google specifically is we were ranking in the top one or two spots for all the keyword searches that we wanted to be. And that was through our organic, the blogs and other SEO tactics that we're pushing. And so we felt that paying for ads in those same spaces for Google felt like putting two times the money in the same area. And so what we did is we pulled back on the Google ads and put more money into SEO and LLM keywords as well, and wanting to just make sure that people can find us organically. And then we can put that money into other tactics.
Yeah, and that's something that we hear a ton of about, how do we make sure that my ads and that my attribution is set up in a way where I'm not cannibalizing my own organic, sales, right? And that applies to any industry, really. You want real results, and I think that a lot of the times, especially when it involves things like, campaigns that can involve branded search terms or things that are related to paid search specifically, there's some cannibalism, there's some over reporting of those results on the channel from the ads. What we try to work with our clients with is about how we can build those custom attribution models to show that true incremental business that you wouldn't have gotten elsewhere, and that you wouldn't have already gotten from your searches. But you bring up a good point about about LLMs. Can you talk a little bit about how you started to structure your SEO to be more AI friendly?
Yeah, so this is an area of the business that we understand is not our proficiency. And so we've brought in an outside agency that we work with, and they have a tool similar to the tools that people have been using with Google listings for a long time that can help show the different keywords and how you're ranking in them. And we felt that it was important to go really heavy into this AI side of things because, as you're seeing, just for an example, on Google, when you type in anything to search, the top result is coming up in Gemini. Now, with the news of OpenAI's ChatGPT pairing with Siri in the next year, or excuse me, Gemini pairing with Siri in the next year, we want to make sure that we're continuing to focus on this LLM keyword. And so they have a software that shows us kind of where we're ranking, and then we do similar to the standard of what we do with Google SEO. We write certain blogs and we write them in a way that helps us rank high, and continuing to push out organic content and work with partners along those same lines. So it's really our own content and then partner content.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's been one of our biggest initiatives this year as an agency, is that we do SEO work for a lot of companies, and I think AI SEO or GEO is going to be a big part of that overall SEO strategy going forward. And for those listening whose partners or agencies are not doing anything about this right now, now's the time to get in and make sure that your sites are fully optimized for both types of searches: traditional Google, which still makes up the majority of our searches, but the ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, these avenues for people finding information are growing month over month over month. We don't see any declines. We see it growing up, up, and up and up as a larger piece of that pie. So what Matthew and the SunRays are doing is going to be very valuable down the road, if it's not already. Matthew, let's talk Meta. You made a big adjustment this year by kind of splitting your ad strategy into kind of location specific accounts instead of doing everything under umbrella. How's that improved performance for you?
Well, before we get to the improvement in performance, it's really helped with our reporting and our understanding of our customers in the different areas. We have to recognize that people are unique, and people that live in certain areas have unique attributes. And so we want to get them the content that they deem valuable, whether that's different programming, responding to photos over videos, whatever different attribute of the ad you want to change, we now can, and we can track it based on location. So for our own sanity, it's extremely helpful making that change. And then on the performance side, we're seeing a significant uptick in the ads serving their unique purposes, making sure that they're actually attracting the customers that we want to get, because we can target those people specifically rather than having to do blanket ads that hit on the average for one of the largest metropolitan areas in the country. So breaking it up seems to be crucial to our success. We've been doing it now for about 6 months and have seen the ads working much better. Our costs have gone down. The acquisition of customers seems to be more efficient. So as of right now, it's working very well.
Yeah, I would say based on what we've done to at at Rossman, I think the general thought against it is that people think that maybe the audience is going to be too small, right? So if I try to target for just one location, it's going to be too small to get a big enough audience to be profitable. What we've seen though is that you'd be surprised, like you'd be very surprised, even within the same city or metropolitan area, if you've got different locations, targeting by key zips, there's still a very big, sample size to work with, assuming you're not narrowing it down by too many other factors. And the more personalized and specific we can get with our ads, whether that's based on geography or anything else, really does make a difference, and it drives those costs down. I think we've seen just across the board. If you're able to focus on targeting in a more a way that's relating it to the end user more, it's definitely going to have an impact on performance. And you mentioned about content creation, because that's the other thing for Meta and all paid social that we keep hearing from the channels is like, give us more ads, let Meta's AI, let Andromeda do all the targeting work for you, but give us more creative to work with. Talk to me a little bit about what your content engine is like. How do you develop new content with the different locations and with your own internal staff?
Yeah, I chuckle when you say, how we really get this content, because we have cobbled together different strategies over the years of what works and what doesn't, and the importance of certain content versus the importance of others. We have used outside people to come in and try to get content. We have given phones to our staff and our coaches when they're at events so they can take photos. And we are willing to try anything to get content. Right now, we have certain coaches have the ability to add to a shared album, and so they're taking pictures and videos when they're not being hands-on with the kids, and there's appropriate coaching out there on the floor. And then we have one of our staff members who is our facility maintenance person, is helping us do many things at the facilities, also has a love for videography. And so now we're bringing in those skills and working with him on his scheduling so he can spend more time on the videos, getting the various video content that we need. I think now we're having an interesting dynamic with the video content where we need, I'll call them more corporate videos, facility tours, large scale event announcements, something like that. And then we need that daily fun, trendy, short form video. And that, trying to get both of those things is a struggle. They're very different types of content, different forms of gathering, different forms of editing. And so that's been tricky for us. We have an idea to involve our community that we might unveil in 2026. So if we get to talk again, I think that would be interesting to talk about that idea. But right now, we're just willing to try anything. And if we have a staff member that gets excited about doing something on the content side, we really want to get them involved, because that's one of the ways we help our people grow too. Everyone in the organization, most, I should say, in the organization started at a coach or started in one role and have spent years and years with us and grown into different areas. So having our people have that access is what's helpful for us, but it's still a struggle. Not everybody knows how to take the video the right way or capture it the way that we need, or so it's a little bit of a struggle. So I don't think we have a good answer yet.
It is always a struggle, especially when content is being handled and by an internal team. But I think you've got a creative approach to it. At least it may not give you the perfect content every time, but it is a pipeline that you're trying to create there. I think the key thing for us with with clients that we work with is it's whenever a client says, oh, we have staff that's willing to give us some photos, or we have somebody internally that's helping us create content, if it would be helpful, we always say yes. We'll send over some like guidelines about how best practices and tips for shooting, but always we'll do the same thing, and we'll just be able to instead of using all agency produced content or all things that are looking one particular way, you get more options to work with, and the more options in the end is the better right now, because again, you'd be surprised as to what works and what doesn't. We found that a lot of times content that's shot on your phone performs way better than anything that looks very slick or overly produced, especially on things like TikTok, if you're having a person looking into the camera. So it's a test and trial and error sandbox, but it's a good process.
Yeah, it's tough for us too. I mean, because we have so many different hands in it, and people have different visions for it as well. And our director of marketing, Sarah, is really fluid with her approach to all of this. She's willing to listen to everybody's ideas. I think now we're getting on the precipice of a good problem, still a problem. We're getting too much content that then we don't know what to do with it, or we don't know how to act quickly on it. So I think, we've built out that funnel and that pipeline pretty well to get content now, even if it is a little hodgepodge. And then the key will be getting that out to the people so that it's usable and it just doesn't sit in our shared album for all eternity.
100%. So talk to me a little bit finally about, the question that I get asked more than anything outside of AI and GEO is TikTok. Tell me a little bit about how you approach TikTok as a channel, and how that's either growing or not so much for you guys.
Yeah, so it's a newer channel to us. Our primary channel is definitely Instagram. That's where we have made the most connections with people online. And so TikTok being new to us, we're trying different things. We're trying posting multiple videos a day. We're trying the continuous series. Every Tuesday we do some stuff with our coaches and to get different ways of teaching skills and things like that out to the people every Tuesday. And so we're trying different pieces of content. What we're finding right now is that we just don't know enough. Sometimes the content that we put out last week will do really, really well, and we'll put out something very similar to that the next week, and it totally flops. So I don't think by any means are we an expert or know what we're doing yet on TikTok. I think we've found a place that we can be creative and express ourselves in different ways, which is good. We're seemingly getting a lot of interactions with people via the comments, a little bit more than Instagram. So we want to play on that a little bit more. And we have yet to do anything on TikTok ads. We're not sure yet if it's really our true audience, or we're just getting views and comments from random human beings out there. So we still have a lot of discovery to do.
I think we all do. I think a lot of them, you're not alone there. It's still kind of the Wild West when it comes to that channel, but it's an exciting top of funnel opportunity that I think a lot of brands are going to look to explore. And it's been a bit of a ride with TikTok, but I think it's for now it's here to stay. So we're excited to see what you guys contribute. Matthew, this has been a great walkthrough of how your business continues to evolve. What can people learn, or where can people learn more about Arizona SunRays and the programs you guys offer?
Yeah, I think the best place to go is ArizonaSunRays.com. That has all of our programs for all of our locations. And then if you go to the website and you want to reach out to us, you can do it through there, or Instagram DMs is a great way to get to know us as well. So yeah, Instagram, our website, and I guess our new TikTok channel. So you get to go see our creative content out there. Yeah.
Awesome. Will do. Well, thank you again, Matthew. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.